think I might say Giannis. How he impacts both sides. And like we all have off nights, but I feel like when he has an off night, it's still 25 and 15 instead of 40 and 20. And he's won a championship.
No weaknesses.
I respect him because he does it the right way. He's a great player. He doesn't cry, he doesn't complain.
If I had to sum up Giannis Antetokounmpo in one word, freak! He's not just an athlete, he's a freak athlete, and he's probably the most unique physical specimen the NBA has ever seen. The speed, the length, the coordination and strength, I mean, at his size, it's just unreal. There's no other word for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Greek the Freak is in the building today. Giannis has an unprecedented wingspan and his defensive versatility, from his Euro step that defies physics to his ability to guard all 5 positions. We're breaking down exactly why Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't just a great athlete, but the greatest freak athlete the NBA has ever witnessed. At 30 years old, Giannis is still in the middle of his prime. But what makes Giannis the ultimate NBA freak athlete? In this video, we're going deep into the genetic lottery and potential DNA mutation in his NBA rookie season that created a basketball anomaly. We'll break down his deer-like biomechanics that shouldn't exist, how a 6'11 human can handle the ball like a point guard, accelerate like Russell Westbrook, and finish at the rim with the force of Shaquille O'Neal. So today we wanted to give you the backstory to celebrate the NBA's most freakish player ever. Standing at 6 feet 11 inches and weighing 243 pounds, Giannis moves like a point guard, rebounds like a center, and attacks the rim like a freight train with handles. He's unstoppable when he gets going. His journey in becoming one of the most dominant freakish forces in NBA history wasn't conventional. It started on the streets of Athens, Greece, where a skinny kid was just trying to help his family survive. Let's talk about his humble beginnings in Greece. December 6th, 1994. Athens, Greece. While most NBA superstars are born into comfort, Giannis Antetokounmpo entered the world as a statistic, the son of Nigerian immigrants Charles and Veronica, living in the shadows of a country that didn't recognize them as citizens. Undocumented, unseen, overlooked. Picture this: 4 brothers crammed into a tiny apartment in Sepolia, one of Athens' roughest neighborhoods. They shared everything: clothes, dreams, and yes, even shoes. When Giannis wanted to play basketball, he had to wait his turn for the family's one pair of sneakers. Some days, he'd practice barefoot on concrete courts that tore up his feet, but never his spirit. We didn't always eat, but we always had basketball. But here's the thing that separated Giannis from every other kid grinding on those streets. Even then, even as a skinny teenager who looked like he'd snap in half, the raw potential was absolutely blinding. In the dusty courts of Sepolia, something magical was happening. This kid moved different. He ran like a guard with those long, loping strides. He jumped like a forward, getting his head near the rim despite being all arms and legs. And he played like his life depended on it, because it literally did. The other players were bigger, stronger, more experienced, but none of them had what Giannis had, that perfect storm of physical gifts wrapped in desperation, tied together with an unbreakable will to lift his family out of poverty. And here's where the freak athleticism started showing up in ways that made absolutely no sense for a kid his age. At 15, Giannis was already 6 feet 7 inches, but weighed maybe 180 pounds soaking wet. He looked like a walking skeleton. But watch the early footage. This kid is doing things that shouldn't be physically possible. He's dribbling the ball between his legs while running full speed down the court. He's grabbing rebounds over guys 6 inches shorter but 40 pounds heavier. He's making passes that NBA point guards would struggle with. But the freakiest part? His learning curve was vertical. Most players take years to develop new skills. Giannis would see a move once and master it in weeks. His coach would show him a Euro step on Monday, and by Friday he's Euro stepping through 3 defenders like he invented it. The answer was simple: you couldn't. Because what they were witnessing wasn't just talent, it was evolution in real time. Sometimes the greatest discoveries happen when you're not even looking. That's exactly what happened when Spiros Viliniadis, a local agent, stumbled upon a pickup game in 2012. He was there to scout another player entirely, but his eyes kept drifting to this impossibly long, impossibly skinny kid who moved like water. 6 feet 9 inches and maybe 190 pounds. Arms that seemed to stretch forever. And hands. Jesus, those hands were like baseball mitts attached to a teenager's body. But here's what made scouts do double takes. This kid had a guard's handle, not just good for his size, legitimately elite ball handling skills. He'd bring the ball up court, weave through traffic, then finish with a dunk that required him to barely jump because his wingspan was so ridiculous. Zach Lowe, who covered his pre-draft workouts, remembers thinking, "This kid moved like Kevin Durant but was built like a defensive end." His coordination at that size was almost disturbing to watch. By the time the 2013 NBA draft arrived, nobody really knew who Giannis Antetokounmpo was. ESPN's draft analysts stumbled over his name. Most casual fans had never heard of him. Hell, most basketball analysts couldn't even pronounce Antetokounmpo correctly. But NBA front offices, they were having heated debates behind closed doors. Some saw a raw project who might never figure it out. Others saw something that might break basketball as we know it. He fell to the 15th pick, and the Milwaukee Bucks scooped up their future MVP, a small market team taking a massive risk on a mystery wrapped in an enigma who couldn't even get a visa to work out for most teams. What Milwaukee got wasn't just a player, it was a revolution in slow motion. But wait, he is for real still growing? Now here's where the story gets absolutely insane. You think you've seen athletic freaks before? Wait until you hear this. Picture this. You're an 18-year-old kid who just got drafted into the NBA. You're already 6 feet 9 inches tall, taller than 99.9% of humans on Earth. You figure you're done growing, right? Your body is what it is. Not if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo. Within months of entering the league, something unprecedented started happening. Maybe it was a DNA genetic mutation, maybe it was divine intervention, but the Bucks' medical staff couldn't believe what they were seeing. This kid was still growing. Not just filling out, literally getting taller by the day. By his second season, he was listed at 6 feet 11 inches, 2 full inches of growth after entering the NBA. Dr. William Rash, the Bucks' team physician, was baffled. "We did growth plate examinations, and this kid had the bone structure of a 16-year-old in the NBA. It was like drafting a high schooler who happened to be disguised as a college freshman." Think about the implications of this. While other rookies were struggling to adjust to NBA speed and physicality, Giannis was literally evolving before everyone's eyes. His wingspan expanded, his reach increased, his center of gravity shifted. It was like watching a real-time science experiment, truly cementing him as the NBA's all-time freakish player. His early years were still awkward. Don't get me wrong. He was too thin, too raw, too different from anything the league had seen. Opponents would laugh when he'd try to post up. Coaches didn't know where to play him. Fans were calling him a bust. But then something clicked. And when it clicked, it literally broke NBA, basketball as we know it. He started doing things that violated the fundamental laws of the sport. Coast-to-coast dunks in 3 dribbles. Yes, 3 steps from one end to the other. People started calling him the Deer because he took Euro steps that covered half the court in just a few strides. Chase down blocks where he'd start at half court and somehow beat the fast break to the rim, faster than even the athletic freak LeBron James himself. People started chanting, "Fear the deer." Now wait, think about a deer in the wild, particularly a large buck, when it's startled or in full flight. It doesn't just run, it performs a series of powerful, elongated bounds. Each bound covers an astonishing amount of ground, propelled by immense leg strength and efficient energy transfer. Its body stretches out, seemingly flying over the terrain in huge leaps. So when Giannis got drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, did he genetically mutate into a buck? It sure looks like it. Check out his deer-like comparisons. We have to wonder sometimes, is he even human? First, it's his full court stride. Giannis at 6'11", or probably even taller depending on how you measure him, with an even longer wingspan, replicates this deer-like movement. Length of stride. His legs are so long that a single stride covers vastly more ground than an average human's. When he gets going in the open court, it looks like he's covering 10 to 15 feet per step. Efficiency and power. Like a deer, his movement isn't just about speed, it's about the powerful, explosive push-off from each foot, followed by a remarkably long suspension in the air before landing and immediately exploding into the next stride. Effortless glide. A deer often appears to glide over obstacles or rough terrain. Giannis has a similar quality. His movement, despite its immense power, can look surprisingly fluid and effortless as he covers vast distances. There's a minimal number of contacts with the floor for the ground covered. Uncontainable speed. Just as it's nearly impossible to chase down a deer once it hits top gear, it's virtually impossible for NBA defenders to catch Giannis in the open court once he decides to go coast to coast. His combination of speed, length, and the few steps it takes him to get to the basket leaves defenders flat-footed and helpless. The Greek is a freak, and the analytics from his first few years in the league don't show you the 6'11" point guard who could run the break faster than guys 8 inches shorter. They don't show you the forward who could switch onto guards and stay with them step for step. They don't show you the rim protector who could block shots, then grab the rebound and immediately push the pace. Jason Kidd, his coach during those developmental years, said it best. "I've never seen anything like it. Most players, you draft them for what they are. With Giannis, we drafted him for what he might become. And what he became was something none of us imagined." By year 3, Milwaukee knew they had a superstar in disguise. The league was starting to take notice. All-star appearances, playoff runs, national TV games. By year 5, they had an MVP. Not just any MVP, the most unique MVP in basketball history. A 6'11" point forward center hybrid who could do literally everything on a basketball court. And the craziest part? He was still just getting started. Today, he is a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, All-Star Captain, NBA Champion, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists every single night, all while guarding your favorite player. He isn't just dominant, he is efficiently dominant. But the scary part? He's still in his prime and he's hungry.
MVP, a guy who's a multi-time All-Star, All-NBA, all-everything, global face of the game. The fact that he brought an NBA championship to Milwaukee, in the midst of the fire that he did.
NBA's ultimate freak athlete is at a crossroads right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo has poured everything into Milwaukee, giving the city his heart, his relentless drive, and that otherworldly athleticism that makes him the NBA's most physically gifted player ever. Yet here we are, watching a few cruel twists of fate potentially drive him away from the only NBA home he's known. Look, we seriously doubt Milwaukee would willingly trade their franchise cornerstone, and we doubt Giannis would outright demand one. But as a small market franchise, the Bucks have exhausted nearly every avenue trying to recapture that 2021 championship magic. And it's been one setback after another. They swung big for Damian Lillard, hoping Dame Time would be the missing piece. Instead, injuries have haunted his Milwaukee tenure, and that recent Achilles injury could signal the end of an era for the explosive guard. Before Dame, it was Chris Middleton, Giannis's championship running mate, constantly battling his own injury demons. Then came the brutal reality of NBA economics. Trading away defensive stalwart Drew Holiday gutted their perimeter defense while leaving them with minimal draft capital and virtually zero cap flexibility. The Bucks mortgaged their future for championship windows that keep slamming shut. With Dame's timeline uncertain and another prime year potentially slipping away, there's one more X factor looming: Robin Lopez's contract situation. If the Bucks don't lock him up with an extension, Giannis will be staring at an even more barren roster, essentially no legitimate supporting cast to mount any serious championship run. So you have to wonder, how long will Giannis watch championship opportunities evaporate? The Golden State Warriors? Toronto Raptors? Miami Heat? The speculation will only intensify until Milwaukee can prove they're still championship caliber. Time is the ultimate enemy for even the most freakishly gifted athletes, and Giannis knows it. He's a legend and freak athlete in motion, from the streets of Sepolia to the top of the NBA. Giannis didn't just rise, he defied gravity. He didn't just change the game, he redefined it. And whether he stays or goes, one thing is certain. He came from nothing and became everything. And here's the thing about Giannis that separates him from every other superstar in NBA history. He might literally be a genetic anomaly. The man grew 2 inches during his rookie NBA season, from 6 feet 9 inches to 6 feet 11 inches. As a fully grown adult, that doesn't happen. The human body doesn't work that way. Yet somehow Giannis defied biology itself, as if the basketball gods decided to craft the perfect specimen right before our eyes. Thanks for watching Hoops Court Vision. Don't forget to subscribe.